You know, this hearing, much like the long suspension that we had a few speakers ago, is a waste of taxpayer time. Yet another showing of the 24/7 circus that this majority has been conducting as puppets of this president's agenda. We have people at risk of losing healthcare coverage for concussions, for preventable diseases, for brain injuries, for cancer, people at risk of losing healthcare coverage, federal workers and veterans fired without reason. FAA woefully understaffed, and presidential appointees taking advantage of their position for personal gain. And yet, the first subpoena that this majority feels compelled to execute, not any that we tried to offer for Elon Musk, but it's to bring the chairman of the board of USA Fencing in. No offense, Mr. Leifelt, but this is part of a crusade against trans people. There's nothing else to call it. No one can explain away how questioning the chairman of USA Fencing on trans people in sports brings down costs for American people. Much like no one can explain how banning trans people from our military ranks makes us more safe. In fact, Representative McGuire, who's not on this subcommittee, but is on the full oversight panel, said this morning something that we could all do well to remember. If somebody saved your life on the battlefield, you wouldn't care if they were pink or blue or male or female, if they called themselves a Democrat, Republican, or an independent. We are all Americans. But we care more, my Republican colleagues care more about policing the way that people live their lives instead of ensuring that they can. Last week, this committee advanced a bill gutting federal employee pay and benefits. This week, the Energy and Commerce Committee was supposed to mark up their piece of their reconciliation package that would cut $880 billion from Medicaid, healthcare for people. This is so unpopular that they had to push back their meeting a week in order to find the votes. But here's the thing. Despite their attempts to distract and deflect, by focusing on trans people who are just trying to play sports and live their lives, the American people are paying attention. They feel the cost of goods going up. Does this hearing address that? No. American people feel the fear of wondering if they'll have health insurance tomorrow. Does this hearing address that? No. I don't know if any of my colleagues are even talking to their constituents, because I've received over 60,000 messages and phone calls, held 8 town halls since being sworn in, and not one person asked me to use my time here to attack trans people. I cannot make it make sense. In fact, Madam Chair, as I think we heard earlier, 155,000 people in your district are at risk of losing their health care under the Republican Party's budget plan, including 111,143 children and 20,000 seniors. Do you want to tell those folks that you care less about them, or should I?
Ms. Randall, in my district, no one's going to lose any of their benefits. It was a promise by President Trump and myself, but they're concerned about men defeating women in sports. Madam Chair. By the way, your patriarchy earrings are screaming of the hypocrisy.
I'm glad you like my earrings, but I'd like to reclaim my time. I'm here today on behalf of my sister, Olivia, who would have been unable to live with her complex disabilities for 19 years without Medicaid, and I'm here on behalf of the 72 million families and seniors who rely on Medicaid. I'm here to tell the American people that while this might be a scary time, a time where we are feeling attacks on our most vulnerable communities every day, where the instances of suicidal ideation amongst LGBTQ folks is rising, and this administration is cutting the very lifeline of the LGBTQ suicide hotline, there are people who see you and celebrate your humanity and who care about you. Ms. Graves, I wasted all my time, but I am grateful that you are here and we're able to share about the real ways that we could support women across the country.
The